Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Nicolas, Ganea, founder of Information Cuisine, and today we're going to be going over how to make bread into crackers by accident. Alright, stay tuned. Perfect. So, today is a pop-up, and as we do a pop-up today, we're going to be doing, well, I don't know, that's the thing with me. I like to just cook what I feel like. Alright, so first what I did was, I picked my flours, alright? So I used buckwheat quinoa, coconut flour, and rye flour. Because I was trying to not use all-purpose flour, so I'm going away from processed flour. Alright, and don't forget I had some yeast. So, as I was putting this together, and keep in mind that I'm not actually warming up my yeast with water, I'm actually just putting it in my KitchenAid because there's so much friction constantly happening. And if you're wondering why, because I mix my bread for at least 10 minutes and it adds a little heat to it, and it's perfect temperature, so it allows the yeast to come alive, because you only need to go past about like 80 to 70. Then, alright, so as I was adding these ingredients in, my flour, my water, my yeast, a little bit of salt, right, so we got that part down. It's looking pretty good, alright? It's coming together. Lies! Reason lies, because it's starting to get a little sandy. And I look at it right here, you see that it's kind of a little dense here. Wouldn't you agree? Now, at this point, I'm thinking I should add more flour for some bloody reason. I don't even know why. Because well, let me tell you why. Because it's feeling sticky, because normally I go by the feeling, alright? I'm going by the feeling because, it needs more flour, because you don't want it sticky. Wrong again. Wrong again. Let's go on. At this point, I put it into a bowl. As I put it in a bowl, cover it up with a towel, and I put it in the oven. You can see it through this. I proof it about 90 degrees. I waited at least an hour. I came back to it, and nothing happened. Well, naturally, because it's so bloody dense, there's not enough airiness, it's not very fluffy, it's not going to rise. So right here, just listen to this. This is when I finally realized. So, a little problem here, it's not proofing at all, it's very dense. No surprise here. So I decided Carol and I decided that we do a crack out of this, but the thing is, what I need to do to figure out textures is cook every different flour individually, and then I can figure out what's missing in it, because this is not right. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what I just meant by that. So what I mean is I'm going to get every individual flour that I use there and see what the textures are by just using the flour, using yeast, water, and a little bit of salt. And then cooking it and see what the texture is, so then it'll help me determine what I did wrong in that bread itself. So then I can add more of something else or less of something else. There you go. So at this point, I start rolling out my crackers. And if you're unsure how to do this, it's quite simple. Watch. I'm just kidding with you. I'm not going to make you watch the entire thing right there, because that's just way too long. So the thing is, what you do is you lay down some all-purpose flour. Yes, I'm going back for what I wanted to say, because I didn't want to use all-purpose flour. That is correct. But at this point, I have to figure this part out, so you kind of understand it at this point. So I threw some all-purpose flour, because it is a lighter flour. Then I just rolled it out really thinly, because if you want to get a crack, you want to have it very thin. Otherwise, if it's too thick, it's just going to be not so good. You get a bench scraper or a pizza cutter, whatever, and line up the shape that you're going for. I went for kind of rectangle squares, and then I lay them in a sheet tray with a silk pad, and I made sure that I put some olive oil on the bottom so it gets a little color. Once I was done with that and I brushed some olive oil over it, I got some chai seeds and some sunflower seeds. Just put some on top, just give a little oh my god, this looks amazing sort of thing to it. I just can't have normal crackers. That's just a custom thing. You don't have to do this. You can just have it regular with anything else. And then you put them in the oven. The thing with a cracker is that you have to have a very low temperature. If you have it at a very high temperature, let's say you have it like 435 to 450, it's going to get too crispy in the outside, and then in the inside, it's going to be chewy. So you have to do it at lower temperatures from 350 to 320. So it dehydrates in a way better. Alright, so we've got our little crackers right here. These are pretty dense, they're a cracker, but they're okay. They're okay. Now, keep in mind the stuff that I was proofing, because I had a lot left over, I just put it into a container and added a lot more water. I used a hand blender to blend it up, and then crushed it in my hands with whatever is left, I suppose. Whatever works for you. Because I know this is going to turn into a mother, and I'm going to loosen it up over time so I can use it again. I wish I had some footage of it to show you, because it grew so much. It was amazing, and I don't know why I didn't take footage. My bad. And the cracker turned out perfectly fine. Now just keep in mind, with different flours, it makes it much harder and denser versus perhaps using all-purpose flour. So until I figure that part out by accident, it's just how it was. So if you do this to your dough and you figure this is a problem, do exactly what I did and you can turn it into a cracker. It doesn't matter how soft or hard the dough is, just it'll work out. It just means you're going to have to cook it longer because there's so much more moisture if it's much more wetter and spongier versus dry. Keep that in mind. And another thing, I turned it into this. I added some little, I guess kind of a slaw sort of thing, root preserve with some cantaloupe dressing, or cantaloupe gloss dressing, and kale and stuff like that. Hope you like the picture. Otherwise, if you have any questions or anything else, let me know underneath. Alright, you have a good one, guys.
Peace. I'm a G, but you knew this.
Didn't realize it was raining.